Alright guys and girls, Raj here, back with a special video. So as we all know, I take special interest in finding out people who did not come from IT background and want to know what is their trait that helped them move into IT and become successful, right? So today we have someone special. His name is Teddy Kozlowski. I will let him introduce himself and then we'll dive deep a little bit. What makes Teddy Teddy? Alright, with that, Teddy, why don't you introduce yourself to my viewers?
Nice. Hello, everybody. My name is Teddy Kozlowski. I am 24 years old and the founder of Glimpse, a NFT blockchain-based company. As Raj said, I am not from a technology background originally. In my undergrad, I studied biology, and that was always kind of what I was going to do. My senior year, I took a hard pivot. I found crypto, I found blockchain in general, distributed ledger technology, and I fell in love with it. So I've been doing that ever since. I now study computer science for my master's at University of Pennsylvania. So I'm just trying to play catch up a little bit here and be able to talk the language that you guys talk so fluently.
No, that's super impressive. So one of the questions that a lot of my viewers have is, like, you had like no coding background, right? Your undergrad was in biology.
None, yeah.
So you did not know anything about Python. If someone told you what is Python, you'll think like a snake.
Yeah, 100%. I never even wrote Hello World before.
You never even wrote Hello World.
No,
wow.
No.
And now you are like deep into coding.
Yeah, getting involved more and more. This was my first semester of Python, Java, a little bit of Java, so I'm diving into both right now. Great languages. It takes a little bit of time to learn, but well worth it,
Excellent. So how were you able to make this switch? Like, what tips and tricks? Let's say I get a question. A lot of my viewers are from testing, QA background, or freshers who did not have any coding background. What tips and tricks do you have for them?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me personally, it was just an interest in technology in general and kind of that whole domain, right? And then I kind of looked at what I wanted to do and building companies, getting involved with startups, and what needed to take place for me to really be successful in that kind of position. And obviously, some coding experience would have been very, very valuable early on. So I said, okay, now's the time. Let's jump into it. Let's learn some coding. Let's take the deep dive. And then for me, it was really just getting started, something very simple. Watching videos online, stackoverflow.com, reaching out to community members. Everyone's been super responsive to helping with coding questions and things like that. So just taking the dive into it was personally, just the big first step. And everyone's been super helpful so far.
Right. So did you find like some kind of structure helpful? Like, would you recommend the viewers go to some free coding bootcamp or the show, do Hello World first, do that? Or do you think take up like a project, like a small project and build on it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's so many programs out there now, and not even degree granting programs. I mean, you can take a massive open online course kind of thing. You can go on Udemy, obviously. You can go on a few. edX is a great another platform, and kind of get your feet wet and see, okay, well, maybe which domain you like before taking a deeper dive into it. But there's so many resources out there that you can really get started on your own, and you can even start toying with small projects as well, right? I mean. So I think to anyone looking to get involved, that's kind of the way to do it, is just get their feet wet a little bit and then say, okay, well, maybe I want to take a deeper dive and maybe do a degree granting program possibly.
Gotcha. Also, like, it's very interesting that even though Python is the most popular language right now, but you personally liking Java a little bit more.
Yeah,
right?
So, a little bit.
So, like, would you recommend the viewers try maybe Hello World and a little bit of basics in like Python, Java, Go, and then find out which one they personally like?
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, just because my program was a little bit structured, so I didn't really have a way to kind of say, oh, this is what I want to do and this is how I want to do it. We kind of started with Python and then took a hard pivot to Java. But if I was to do it over again, 100% I do it the way you kind of suggested it, which is learn a little bit of Python, learn a little bit of Java, whatever language Go it might be, whatever you're interested in, and start off with the basics before like diving into one and then trying to pivot to the other. I think that's definitely the way to do it. But yeah, no, Java started off a little bit tricky, a very verbose language, but I personally enjoy it a little bit more than Python. So sorry to all those Python lovers.
No, which is very interesting because Python is much easier to pick up.
People say that. Yeah, I know.
But this is the trick, guys and girls. Like, you don't have to do analysis paralysis on which language to pick, right? So like if you like Java or you like Go for it, right? You learn that language because at the end of the day, you are able to pick up Java because you already knew Python a little bit, like the
100%.
constructs,
Yeah,
right?
100%. And the logic behind it and how you're forming those methods and functions and within the classes themselves. Yes, 100%. It all ties together.
Yeah, so definitely try small bits and pieces, but the most important part is get started.
100%.
Right? Don't do analysis paralysis. Don't think, oh man, I don't like Python that much. I like Go more or Node.js more.
Yeah.
That's totally cool, man.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's like world would be a boring place if everyone started liking one kind of things. Like men will be fighting over one woman all the time.
That is very true. That's
That
a good
actually
analogy.
happened,
That is a good analogy. That is a good. We haven't run into that problem,
That's
you and
true.
I yet. So
That's true. That's true. Okay, so also talk a little bit about your first startup. So of course, NFT Glimpse is your second startup.
correct. Yeah.
But talk to our viewers a little bit more about your first startup.
Yeah, so we were in the crypto space trying to create a new digital currency exchange here based in the U.S. And we kind of went full into it, just like this one. And I think what I lacked in experience and being able to communicate with the developers and exactly what needed to get done and why maybe we were running into some issues really affected the timeline. And when it came time to fundraise, we kind of missed the boat. So we spent so much time in development, so much time with communicating between the development team and I just to kind of figure out where we were. We probably wasted at least 4, maybe even 6 months. So by the time it came for funding, it became very difficult to get. The market was oversaturated at that time, and inevitably, we didn't end up raising the amount needed to close the round. So I wouldn't call it a failure.
No,
but,
okay.
But it was definitely a lesson learned that we're applying to this current startup.
Yeah, that is super interesting because, culturally, we all have fear of failure, right?
For sure.
Because when we try something, we think that our worth is on the line, right?
100%.
But how did you convince yourself that, okay, that was also a over $1 million startup, right? You
Yes. Yep.
got investments and stuff. And even though it did not pan out as much as you wanted it to pan out, what did you tell yourself that, hey, I gotta try this thing again, right? I gotta do IT. Like, what keeps you going?
Yeah, I think for me it was the ability to create something, right? I mean, I didn't want to just work for necessarily a company my whole life, but I wanted to create something new in the marketplace, solve a problem, right? And for me, just because we failed once, it wasn't really enough to say, okay, well, I'm going to give up on startup life. So, for sure, it was a struggle to say, okay, I'm going to start from scratch. I mean, we really went back to the drawing boards. We didn't reuse any code. We didn't reuse any designs or anything like that. So quite the process, but, definitely well worth it.
Okay. So, and also, like, with coding, I remember we were discussing your Python projects, right? So in the beginning, you struggled.
Yes.
Right?
Struggled.
I mean, it's okay to say to the world.
Yes,
know.
I 100%.
Once it's out in YouTube,
Yep.
everyone knows.
No, there's no surprise there. I struggled very early on.
Yeah, but I think it's the same drive that kept you going, right?
Yeah, 100%. And if you're just, I mean, for me, I've just always been interested in learning. And like, if you're somebody that's going to sit down and willing to put the time in and solve the problem, and you're going to love it. I mean, it's super rewarding.
Right.
I mean, I think, like you said, I asked you for help on one of my early projects just for some advice on how to even start it, right? I mean, I was confused on how to even start it.
Right.
And, by the time, a couple hours later, 10 hours later, I was done with the project, right?
Yeah,
So sometimes there's like that one little piece missing where you reach out to somebody, either a personal friend or on the internet, and all of a sudden it comes together, But I think if you stick with it, it's easily accomplishable.
So, I mean, a lot of my viewers have full-time jobs, family and stuff, right? So I try to tell them that, see, you have a backup, right? Like, the worst thing that could happen is you try, you fail, but at least you have a full salary of your existing job, even though you're trying to switch your career
100%.
to cloud, DevOps, or IT, AML, whatever, right? So, I also try to tell myself, because coming from an Indian culture, a failure is tough, right?
Yeah.
But you got to tell yourself that if you fail, you are not worthless. Your worth is not in the line, right? What failed is the initiative. You learn from it and you just keep on trying.
100%.
Right,
100%,
right.
Exactly.
Which brings me to another segment, which is very interesting. So even though you are super young, you are doing a lot of things, right? Like
trying.
2 startups. This startup is like large scale.
Yeah.
You studied crypto. You explained. You went to seminar. Now you are going to one of the prestigious schools. Like, how do you do it? Like, Do you sleep even? Like, what's the secret?
Yeah. I mean, some weeks, I do definitely trade off some sleep to get some work done. But, I do find time definitely to get some rest. And, I'll be honest, for a while when I first started this, between the schooling and the startup, I was super far behind. I was getting a little bit lost in the class and everything. And I kind of just reminded myself to just be flexible, right? I mean, like, I was super regimented at first and kind of designed my day perfectly, and then I realized, well, things come up, things happen. Let's be flexible. Be a little bit adaptable with your time frame. So once I adapted that approach, things became much easier. I was resting better. I was remembering things a little bit easier, and just a little bit more at peace as well. So for sure, if you're juggling this with a full-time job or maybe family, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a little bit difficult. But if you put your mind to it, it's going to be something that you can accomplish for sure, without a doubt.
Yeah. Also, like, they could take it, like, you move fast, but they don't have to move that fast because they have already a full-time job in that case, right?
100%, yeah.
So, but the important part is to pitch in every week.
A little bit every week, yeah. Just keep building on what you know and what you previously did. But yeah, I mean, you're 100% right. There's no need to rush it, right? I mean, if you're taking time with a concept or you need more time, take your time, right? Nail down that concept, because a lot of these things build upon one another. So you're actually doing yourself a favor to say, hey, I'm going to spend a little bit more time on this week instead of moving forward. So definitely do it at your own pace. But yeah, the key is just chip away at it a little bit by bit.
Gotcha. What drives you for all this achievement? Is this money? Like, do you love, are you driven mostly by money? Or I think we answered a little bit, or the hunger to achieve something new?
Yeah, so I mean, I'll be lying to say if when I was younger, that money wasn't a tiny factor, right? A little bit on my mind, but as I grew up a little bit, I would say, again, just the drive to create something is really, and something I was passionate about is kind of what drives me. I mean, you don't give up sleep, you don't give up, schedule, or maybe, taking off some time for work or coming home after work and studying. You don't give that up to make a few extra bucks, right? I mean, you give that up because you love it. And, with this platform in particular, I'm finding that because I love it, I mean, I'm finding it easy to put the time in, right? I mean, I find this is what I want to do. I'm enjoying it. So, and then the money follows. I mean, look at my first thing, which maybe have been a little bit more money motivated than this for sure. And we didn't close the round, right? We were unsuccessful. But now I found something I'm passionate about, something I can build, and the round closed in less than a week. So I think if you're passionate about something and you can showcase that talent and you can showcase that drive, I think the money will follow, no problem.
Yeah, this is also common across all successful people, because you are learning something new, and if you're just doing it for money, it is super difficult to stick to it, right? You have to have the drive, you have to like it, right? So AI/ML is super hot right now, and the AI/ML pays a lot of money. But if DevOps, you like DevOps more, go for DevOps, right? Because you'll be able to stick to it. Even though AI/ML is shiny and gets you a lot of money, but if you just go for money, you won't be able to stick to it, right?
Yes, I 100% agree.
Because you have to do slogging, like, because a lot of you have full-time jobs, you have to study at night. You have to play with your kids, and then you'll have an hour or two after everyone goes to sleep, you'll be tired. So unless you really like it, you really want to learn the subject, you're having fun with it, there is no way you will be able to switch your career, right?
100%.
So another question is, when you meet with the investors or other folks who you're trying to invest in your business, what do you think is more important? The technical skill that you need to explain, or the way you explain it? So like communication, presentation, that kind of stuff.
I mean, I'll definitely say that both are important, right? And some investors, depending on who they are looking for slightly different things. You might get, a technical investor. You might get someone who cares more about the big picture kind of thing. For me, it was definitely the technical aspect needed to be there, though. In every conversation, even if we didn't go a little bit more in depth with some versus the others, we always went technical, at least a little bit, right? So being able to explain them and give them the confidence as a founder that I had the technical knowledge to navigate a team, or at least build a team and manage a team, that was 100% key to raising this round. I mean, if I wasn't able to explain, the project or the functionality or the overall platform, it would have been a non-starter for sure.
Right, but you don't need to know every little detail.
Not at all, not at all. And like you said at the beginning of this conversation, everyone has their specialty.
Right.
I know very few people, if any, that are great at every domain. Right. I mean, and that's kind of the beauty of it. Is all these dev teams. That's why it's a team.
Right.
Right. Each person is chipping in. Each person's an expert at what they do. And that's the beauty of it.
Right. So sometimes I get this question like Raj, how much do I need to know? Like I studied this. Is that enough? Right? So scope is very important, right? So I often tell my students that think about other aspects in your life, like you're trying to learn guitar, you're trying to maybe do bodybuilding or whatever, right?
No.
You don't start, if you're trying to lose weight, you don't start with 20 different cardio exercises, right?
No, not
you
at all.
just start with 1 or 2 and then you get better at it, right?
Sure.
So when you are going for either cloud, DevOps, AI/ML or anything, define the scope. Right? Like, let's say you are trying to learn container and DevOps. If you want to learn everything, it is impossible. You won't be able to move forward, right? So like Teddy is saying, like he knows enough so that he can explain it, but then he doesn't need to bog down by technical nitty-gritties all the time, right? So define the scope, right? I have a separate video defining scope for DevOps. I'll link it up top. You can take a look. And then presentation skills are very important. It's very important to explain what you know to other folks, right? So you knowing all the stuff is not good enough, right? So pay some attention to that as well. Okay, cool. So let's say, Teddy, you are very interested in AI/ML yourself, like machine learning, right? So if someone is stuck at their career and wants to switch to cloud or machine learning, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm just going to echo kind of what we've been talking about previously, which is just find something online. There's so many resources. You don't have to have a huge time commitment. You don't have to be an expert at it. Just simply get your feet wet and start learning something, right? And then from there, decide whether this is for you or not. And each course is going to suggest something else or other material. And as you go through it, you're going to have additional questions. And Google is your friend, right? Google, I mean, as you come up with these questions, don't be afraid to Google for other information. Read those articles. Look at those videos. Super helpful. But yeah, I mean, if you're interested in those domains, all I can tell you is from what I know, which is still limited in capacity compared to some people, is just do it. I mean, just get involved. This is the most exciting sector to be involved in, technology. You'll never be bored. Always learning. Fast paced. I mean, you got to be a part of it.
Right. Is it like too late, Teddy, like to get into cloud?
No.
Because AWS is out for more than 10 years now.
Yeah.
So a lot of my viewers ask, Raj, did I miss the boat?
Yeah.
Right?
No, that's a fair question.
Yeah.
That's a fair question. In my opinion, no. I mean, I think you have to start learning with the basics, but I mean, even companies like AWS, Microsoft, IBM, continually building upon the platforms that are existing right now. So, you might not be, I wouldn't say miss the boat, but you'll be someone who can get caught up, and then you're going to be able to learn whatever new products are coming out on a yearly basis, whatever new platform features they're rolling out. So no, I mean, I definitely did not miss the boat. You might be playing a little bit of catch up here and there as far as learning the material, but nothing that you can't do.
I mean, also like the amount of new features this cloud come up every month, right?
Yeah.
Like even I don't know even 50% of the services, right?
And you're an expert.
Only in certain areas. So that's the thing. Like let's say machine learning. I don't know much about machine learning.
Yeah.
And I think AWS is coming up with new machine learning tools almost every week.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So yeah, that's a fair assessment. Okay, actually, that's all my questions. Anything else you wanted to share with the viewers?
I just gotta say, just do it. I mean, if you're interested, if you're watching even this video, or you've been watching series by Raj's or other people, I mean, just jump into it and just chip away at it day by day. Like you said, don't get overwhelmed. I mean, there's so much out there, and if you try to bite off too much at once, you're just gonna overwhelm yourself. And if you just slowly, gradually ease into it, it's gonna be such a much smoother process for you. So that's the only advice I would give.
Excellent. So how can people reach you, Teddy? I know you are hiring for your startup.
Yeah.
Like, what's the best platform to reach out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on LinkedIn, so Theodore Kozlowski. I'm also on Telegram at Kozlowski, Kozlowski, a little bit of a complicated last name there.
No, you guys and girls don't have to remember it. I'll give everything on the description of the video.
No, I mean, anyone interested in blockchain or crypto in general, or DeFi projects, DeFi applications, doesn't even need to be a technical question. Just someone wants an overview of what exactly we're doing, or maybe interest in NFT markets in general. general, please reach out. 100%. I always enjoy it. I love talking about this stuff. I could talk about it for days. So don't hesitate.
Last question. Should people buy Dogecoin?
Oh my gosh. So that's a loaded question because it is always going up, it seems like. So I hate to tell people no, but Dogecoin started as a meme, obviously. So I would be very careful with investing in that. So if you want to enjoy speculative trading, that's on you. But I cannot make any recommendation there.
Excellent. Well, Teddy, thanks for stopping by and sharing your knowledge and learnings with the viewers.
Of course.
All right, with that, guys and girls, let me know what you thought of the video. Ask any questions, reach out to Teddy, add him on LinkedIn. Okay, and then I'll see you guys and girls in the next video. Bye.